This might be a really dumb idea, but I had a Tesla community member share with me their theory that not only will Tesla license they take your concept even further, Larry. This person was saying that they are going to license the factory. They're going to be able to basically have companies, whether it could be the Legacy Auto, but it could be any company, license the creation of a factory, giving them blueprints, helping them build it. Would Tesla ever do that? And is this something that could save face for some of these legacy automakers?
Yeah, actually, that was in my proposal. I see every reason that Tesla will help design, will license the design of the factories, will provide engineering support to build the factories. I think it's vital, actually, that they do that, because it's going to be very difficult for an OEM to manufacture using the Tesla methods unless the factories actually comply to some of the Tesla requirements. So I think that's very much a part of it. I see engineering services, I see design services, and who knows, maybe Tesla will even sell the machine that makes the machine. So I see that as a real opportunity. And I think it's a great opportunity. But, when you talk about, people criticize the board of Tesla, but I have to say, the General Motors board really, really needs to be fired in whole. And the CEO needs to go. That company has made some terrible decisions.
Nicola.
Anyway, it's just a personal.
Oh yeah, Nikola is only one of them. And the Ultium battery was completely wrong as well. Those pouch batteries and whatever. But let me just add to that two things. I actually like the idea of selling factory outlets and whatever, because it will. I mean, obviously, it will bring Tesla the whole licensing fees and whatever it comes with it, but it will also avoid any of these careful monopolistic situation call outs, because obviously if Tesla becomes too big in energy, too big in cars, too big in full self-driving, whatever, that could be one of the things slowing Tesla down. And by sharing, I think the risk just diminishes.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I have a quick question. So, like, how do you guys view this licensing thing? If Ford comes out and says that they have 150 suppliers, that parts need to talk to each other, it takes forever to make changes, how does it look? Are they like going to Tesla to when they want to make a change? So are they licensing their engineers? Because aren't they trying to bring that in-house? And then doesn't everyone have to do that? Bring the whole software engineers internal and do everything on their own?
Well, of course they do. But, to do that from scratch, I can tell you, to build a software business, to build a software function from scratch is an extraordinarily difficult thing to do. And to do it, when you're trying to manufacture a car, ask Volkswagen, they'll tell you just how difficult it is. They've had to scrap what they're doing. So the way to do it is to take an existing team that's functioning and to have that team help you build a team, use that existing body of software and use that as a way to get started. It'll shorten the cycle time for Ford by, 3 years, 4 years. And it'll reduce the level of risk. Right now, the level of risk Ford faces is incomprehensible. I don't think the Ford management begins to understand the level of risk they're taking on by trying to do this thing on a greenfield basis. It's staggering to think of what they have to go through. It took Tesla 10 years. It's going to take them longer.
Yeah. And
it's crazy. It's crazy.
And Volkswagen tried 14,000 software engineers, gave up, fired them all, rehired 5,000. Now they're at the point deciding that they are not a tech company, meaning that didn't work out either, right? So, and that's Volkswagen. And I think Volkswagen is probably more agile than Ford is. So,
no.
Well, not anymore, for sure.
Volkswagen is the ultimate disaster. I think Ford is probably in a lot better position than GM or Volkswagen, but they would be a whole lot better position if instead of hiring 5,000 people, they hired 50.
Yeah.
And instead of hiring just 50, they hired 50 and had Tesla bring 4 or 5 engineers with them. That team would do dramatically faster and better work than 5,000 or 1,500 engineers would do.
Yeah,
I've talked about this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Alexander. I've talked about this. This transition of like, hey, we're going to try to do this the Tesla way. This takes many, many years to build that up. Tesla, like Larry said, it's over 10 years, and that was starting from a group of people that fit inside of a conference room, and then they organically expanded that, and they organically expanded that core with Elon's thinking, hiring all these people in kind of his mode, his culture, his way of thinking, to kind of like slap this group together and think you're going to bring all these components in-house. You're going to change over your entire supply base, and you're going to have people that can think in a vertically integrated manner, act in an efficient and vertically integrated manner, and just do this. It's going to take many product cycles to do this. This is why I believe that they're actually not going to meaningfully produce EVs over the next couple of years. Even this 2025 product, I'm sure they looked at the Tesla Investor Day deck and said, wow, our 2025 product's DOA. It's probably a step in the right direction, but yeah, it's going to be nowhere near where Tesla is going to be in a couple of years. So what do? I think what they have to do in these situations, and I agree with Larry, they have to downsize so they get the group in kind of a meaningful size, not this large size. And then they have to go figure out what they're going to have the ability to make over time and do internally. And then they're going to have to swallow hard and go buy some things and work with a company like Tesla. I think that's probably the least path of resistance and their highest probability of success in doing that. And I think Tesla has shown that they're a player that's not focused on draining and making massive margins and hurting everybody. They want to just move the kind of the EV industry along, but I'm sure they're going to make money doing it. So just this transition that these companies have to do is massive. You can't just read a playbook and do it, and you have to have the right leadership to be able to do it. And then you've got this whole union structure behind it. So it's extremely complicated, and there's a very low probability of success. And the street doesn't seem to discount this appropriately. Again, they think they have these multiples in the single digits, and like, yeah. It's no. I think there's even much greater risk than where they're valued at today.
Larry, didn't you tell me that Morgan Stanley is suggesting a Ford license with Tesla? And then very likely they saw the video that I did with you where you're explaining all this. What was your reaction when you saw that?
Yeah, I mean, they really, just a week or so after our talk, they came out with this paper that, said that, Ford likely will license more than the NACS. But I want to pick up on the point that Jeff made, and Morgan Stanley missed this point. These 100-year-old firms, unlike the Chinese firms, are used to deterministic plans. This is the plan we're going to make, that on such and such a day you'll have this available and this will be completed and then that'll be completed. And they build these gigantic plans and they hire these people and they build these gigantic plans. And, that's how they've done it. It's not going to work. This deterministic approach to building, it's not going to work. The reason the Chinese are doing so well is because they've learned. Tesla is not inventing this new approach to, building software, building hardware, building cars. This has been a development over the last 30 years in the software industry, but it's leached into, manufacturing, and the Chinese have learned it and learned it very well. It's the opposite, really, of the Toyota way. We're seeing the end of that whole era of, deterministic planning and, all of that stuff. We're into, an age where agility is the focus, and it has to be given the rate of evolution of the technology. And you can't have a union shop with union practices doing agile manufacturing. You just can't. It doesn't work, because unions want to define exactly what the job is, when the job will be done, how many hours, and what the skill set is that that person has to bring to that job. Doesn't work. In the modern world, everybody has every skill that they wish to evolve, and the skill that they bring to the table is what they're able to do, and they become more and more skilled in that, and they take that further, and they contribute to the evolution of the part or the component or the job or the software piece. And that's not really the union way.